Thank you. Thank you so much uh, for the presentation. Um, by the way, I think before we go for the questions, Tony, I would be pleased to know that we invited Ayesha Irani in 2022. Uh,
Oh,
she,
good.
yeah, she visited our institute in Kolkata in 2022 December, and she spoke. I mean, we invited her to speak about her new book, The Nabi
Good.
Vamsa.
I'm glad. I'm very
Yeah,
glad.
yes,
She was one of my sort of informal students. She had her formal committee, but I was an outside advisor, and I worked with her closely in revising the manuscript of the dissertation and turning it into a book. And it's just a fabulous, and it's won the recent AAR award, American Academy of Religion Award, and rightly so.
right, right. And yes, definitely. And we are also reading the book. I mean, we began reading the book, and we thought that we should be inviting Aisha. And
Good.
yeah, and we met, some of us met field trips with Aisha. We went to the Baul Mela
Uh-huh.
in Murshidabad. That was very cold wind. I mean, it was a very cold December in 2022, and we went. The Mela was in the night. So we had a good time, and she also visited Malda, the northern part of Bengal, and looked into some of the Buddhist sites with Murshid, who is also the one of the conveners of this project. Now,
Uh-huh.
another thing is that this project, we planned it in this way that we'll be having 6 seminars as part of the project because this is a process of learning for us. I mean, we're trying to learn more from scholars like you. And your talk was part of the first seminar. The second seminar of this project will be held on the 18th of this month, and
Uh-huh.
we have invited Ipsita Halda to speak in the
Oh,
second
excellent. Good. Good.
seminar.
Another one of my students where
Yes,
I was on her dissertation committee
yes,
and then read through various versions of the manuscript.
right.
Uh, so I'm very proud of her. She's done a really nice job.
Right, right. And that gives us the sense that perhaps we are going in the right direction, that these are the scholars that we should be engaging with. And another thing is that, as you said, that when you call it the minor intellectual tradition, we have to be very alert and cautious. And that's true. And we exactly had this in mind that all these texts, I mean, as you mentioned, that there are so many manuscripts, but still they didn't find any place in the mainstream canonical historiography of Bangla Sahitya, Bangla literature. You mentioned Sukumar Sen rightly. So that was the purpose of it, that how do we kind of demarginalize these texts and how we get back to them through our reading of scholars like you. Now, that
Well,
said,
that's actually what my whole career has been, is trying to bring these
yes,
things to,
yes,
after I looked at the Vaishnava Sahitya, particularly the biographical, hagiographical literature of Chaitanya, I just realized that there's so much out there, just so much, that really needs to be used to complicate our understanding of Bangla literary history and religious history. And one of the things about that is we have I mean, the big projects like Shukumar Shen's project,
mhm,
Dinesh Chandra Shen, Ashit Kumar Bandopadaya's, massive literary history.
mhm,
All of these massive projects
mhm,
had a purpose, and part of it was establishing that Bengal had a literary history, that had a history
yeah,
actually that was recoverable.
yeah,
And so there was a motivation behind it to establish Bengal on equal terms with Europe, and so forth. But I think in that process, that became canonical to the point where few people challenge it.
right,
And when I was a dissertation student, I met with Shukumar Sen. I met with Ashik Kumar Bandopadaye, repeatedly.
mhm,
And what I learned, I just can't even begin to repay the debt. And
mhm,
on the other hand, I realized that they're almost too big, and because it ends up dominating everything else, and no one is willing to challenge. And I remember the first time that I criticized Shukumar Sen for his Bangla Shahitya, or his Islamic Shahitya book. Um, there was a gasp an audible gasp in the crowd. So this is very real, and that alerted me to the power of these intellectual institutions. And so I'm delighted. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I'm delighted that this is the direction that you're going.
Thank you so much. Exactly, that's the direction we are looking for.